All praises unto the Most High Yahawah, power of Yasharahla. Salutations unto my big brother yahawashi, and unto the holy ones in heaven and on earth. Now this is the next revelation from the hidden book. This book is a very important book, and the Most High has put it upon my spirit to reveal it. Who has ears to hear will hear. Who has eyes to see will see. All praises unto the Most High for putting the Spirit upon me to do this thing. Let's get onto the lesson. Forgive me if I stutter throughout this recording. This is Revelation chapter 16, verse 1. Then I heard a voice from the sanctuary shouting to the 7 angels, "Go and empty the 7 bowls of Yahawah's anger over the earth." Yahawah, every time I say the word Yahawah, the word God is in that place. The first angel went and emptied his bowl over the earth at once on all the people who had been branded with the mark of the beast and had worshipped its statue. There came disgusting and virulent sores. That word means disease or poison in an extreme manner. The second angel emptied his bowl over the sea, and it turned to blood like the blood of a corpse, and every living creature in the sea died. The third angel emptied his bowl into the rivers and water springs, and they turned into blood. Then I heard the angel of water say, "You are the holy, he is and he was, the just one, and this is a just punishment." They split the blood, they spilt the blood of the saints and the prophets, and the blood is what you have given them to drink. It is what they deserve. And I heard the altar itself say, "Truly, Yahawah Almighty, the punishment you give are true and just." The fourth angel emptied his bowl over the sun, and it was made to scorch the people with its flames. But though people were scorched by the flames, by the fierce heat of it, they cursed the name of Yahawah, who had the power to cause such plagues, and they would not repent and praise him. The fifth angel emptied his bowl over the throne of the beast. Letter A. It says, Rome, type of all pagan powers, hostile to Yahawah, hostile to God, right? So Rome is the mystery Babylon, and its whole empire was plunged into darkness. Men were biting their tongues for pain, but instead of repenting for what they had done, they cursed Yahawah of heaven because of their pains and sores. The sixth angel emptied his bowl over the great river Euphrates. All the water dried up so that a way was made for the kings of the east, B, the Parthian kings, dreaded by the Roman world, to come in. Then from the jaws of dragon and beast and false prophet, I saw 3 foul spirits come. They looked like frogs, and in fact were demon spirits able to work miracles, going out to all the kings of the world to call them together for the war of the great day of Yahawah the Almighty. See, the work of these evil spirits foreordained to bring the pagan nations to judgment. Verse 15, this is how it will be. I shall come like a thief. Happy is the man who has stayed awake and not taken off his clothes, so that he does not go out naked and expose his shame. They called the kings together at one place, called in Hebrew Armageddon, D, i.e. the mountains of Megiddo. The defeat of King Josiah near his town 2 Kings 23 verse 29. May the place symbolize disaster for any armies assembling there. Zechariah chapter 12 verse 11. The seventh angel emptied his bowl into the air. Verse 17. Salak. The seventh angel emptied his bowl into the air, and a voice shouted from the sanctuary. Proceeding from the throne or from YAHAWAH, from God. The end has come. Then there were flashes of lightning and peals of thunder, and the most violent earthquake that anyone has ever seen since there have been men on the earth. The great city was split into 3 parts, and the city of the world collapsed. Babylon the Great was not forgotten. YAHAWAH made her drink the full wine cup of his anger. Every island, and let me explain this. First, before anyone inhabits a place, it's an island. America's an island. Russia's an island. Spain's an island. The UK's an island. Every country on the face of the planet is an island. It becomes a country when we inhabit it. And we, the inhabitants, are the tribes. It's simple. So don't think, oh, it's just talking about the islands in the Caribbean. No, it's talking about every single country on the planet. Right? Okay. So it says, every island, verse 20, every island vanished and the mountains disappeared. These cosmic phenomena symbolize the powers of this world withering under Yahweh's anger, under God's anger. And hail with great hailstones weighing a talent each. And it says, about 1 talent, fell from the sky on the people. They cursed YAHAWAH for sending a plague of hail. It was the most terrible plague. Now this is Revelation chapter 17 verse 1. Now I'm going to give you this book in its full context and its full potential. Now this book has headings and context changes throughout the whole book, and I will be saying them and putting them in their right place and their right order. Now, the heading of chapter 17 is the punishment of Babylon. The context is the famous prostitute. Now, this is chapter 17, verse 1. One of the 7 angels that had the 7 bowls came to speak to me, and had come and had said, Salakia, and had said, come here, I will show you the punishment given to the famous prostitute. Rome, type of any place where evil is supreme. Prostitution symbolizes idolatry, as in Ezekiel chapter 16 verse 23, Hosea chapter 1 verse 2, Revelation chapter 14 verse 4. Who rules enthroned beside abundant waters. A literal description of Babylon metaphorically explained in verse 15. The waters actually mean peoples, places, and countries. The one with whom all the kings of the earth have committed fornication, who has made all the population of the world drunk with the wine of her idolatry. He took me in spirit to a desert, where unclean beasts live. Leviticus chapter 16 verse 8. And there I saw a woman riding a scarlet beast, which had 7 heads and 10 horns. The 7 heads are Rome's 7 hills, and the horns 10 subject kings. The beast is Nero himself. He is dead, but will return as the ruler of the subject peoples to avenge himself on Rome, and had blasphemous titles written all over it, and pearls, and she was holding a gold wine cup filled with the disgusting filth of her fornication. On her forehead was written a name, a cryptic name, on the earth. Salakia, a cryptic name, Babylon the Great. Babylon is symbolic. Salakia, Babylon is the symbolic name for Rome, the mother of all the prostitutes and all the filthy practices on earth. I saw that she was drunk drunk with the blood of the saints and the blood of martyrs of YAHAWASHI, who they call Jesus. G. Allusion to Nero's persecution like Jerusalem. Ezekiel chapter 16 verse 36 to 38 and 23 verse 37 to 45. Rome is guilty of a double crime, idolatry and murder. And when I saw her, I was completely mystified. The angel said to me, "Don't you understand?" Question mark. Now I will tell you the meaning of this woman and of the beast she is riding with the 7 heads and the 10 horns. Now the angel is going to explain what you just told the prophet, right? Now the context changes before verse 8. It says the symbolism of the beast and the prostitute. Now this is chapter 17 verse 8. The beast you have seen seen once, was, and now is not. He is yet to come up from the abyss, but only to go to his destruction. H. 2 different interpretations of the beast symbolism are combined, and these correspond to the two originally distinct texts of Revelation. See introduction. Introduction says the punishment of Babylon. Get me? And the people of the world whose names have not been written since the beginning of the world in the book of life will think it miracles when they see how the beast once was and now is not, and still to come. Here there is need for cleverness, for the shrewd mind. For the shrewd mind. The 7 heads are the 7 hills, and the woman is sitting on them. The 7 heads are also 7 emperors. 7 Roman emperors. The 6th, Nero, is now on the throne. 5 of them have already gone, and 1 is here now, and 1 is yet to come. Once here, he must stay for a short while. The beast who once was and now is not is the same time the 8th and one of the 7, and he is and he is going to his destruction. Verse 12. The 10 horns are 10 kings. J. The kings of the satellite nations, who have not yet been given their royal power. Daniel chapter 7 verse 24. But will have royal authority only for a single hour in association with the beast. They are all of one mind in putting their strength and their powers at the beast's disposal. And they will go to war against the Lamb. Against the Lamb. So the Lamb is not a people. So please don't say that again. Nobody. The Lamb is the Messiah, right? But the Lamb is the Lord of lords and King of kings, and he will defeat them, and they will be defeated by his followers. They called the chosen the faithful. The angel continued, the waters you saw beside which the prostitute was sitting are all the peoples, the populations, the nations, and the languages. But the time will come when the 10 horns and the beast will turn against the prostitute and strip off her clothes and leave her naked, when they will eat her flesh and burn the remains in the fire. In fact, YAHAWAH influenced their minds to do what he intended, to agree together to put their royal powers at the beast's disposal until the time when Yahweh's words should be fulfilled. The woman you saw is the great city which has authority over all the rulers on earth, and that is Rome, my people. This is Revelation chapter 18, and the context is an angel announces the fall of Babylon. This is Revelation chapter 18, verse 1. After this, I saw another angel come down from heaven with great authority given to him. The earth was lit up with his glory. At the top of his voice he shouted, Babylon has fallen. Babylon the Great has fallen and has become the haunt of devils and the lodging for every foul spirit and dirty, loathsome bird. All the nations have been intoxicated by the wine of her prostitution. Her prostitution, the anger of her prostitution, have been intoxicated, have drunk deep, have fallen, or she has drunk deep. Every king in the earth has committed fornication with her, and every merchant grown rich through her debauchery. Now, debauchery means basically merchants. You get what I'm saying? I'm not going to go around that. You were merchants. You get what I'm saying? You were merchandise. Now, it might not be that Rome is directly doing merchandise or trading with other countries, but it gives order to other countries to do so. If indirectly Rome is the one that is ruling all of the other countries, right? If she's the whore, if she's the harlot, right? And she's the one that's ruling all the other countries, even if she doesn't have nothing directly to do with their commerce or their selling or their fornication, you know what I'm saying? Like telling them to do it on a daily basis, right? They are the influence and they benefit from all of that. So they are the true bosses, and that in turn makes them the ones that are doing the commerce by default. And that's a fact. Just, if you don't understand what I said, replay it. Now, the context actually changes before verse 4. It says, the people of YAHAWAH summoned away. A new voice spoke from heaven. I heard it say, come out, my people, away from her, so that you do not share in her crimes and have the same plagues to bear. Her sins have reached up to heaven, and YAHAWAH has her crimes in mind. She is to be paid in her own coin. She must Bitcoin. She must be paid double, and the amount she exacted, she is to have a double strong cup of her own mixture. Every one of her shows and orgies is to be matched by the torture or a grief. I am the queen on my throne, she says to herself, and I am no widow, and shall never be mourning, for that within a single day the plagues will fall on her. Disease and mourning and famine, she will be burnt right up. YAHAWAH, the Elohim, has condemned her, and he has great power. The context changes before verse 9. The people of the world mourn for Babylon. There will be mourning and weeping for her by the kings of the earth who have fornicated with her and lived with her in luxury. They see the smoke as she have smoke as she burns, Salakia. They see the smoke as she burns, while they keep at a safe distance from fear of her agony. They will say, mourn, mourn, for this great city, Babylon, so powerful a city, doomed as you are within a single hour. There will be weeping and distress over her among all the traders of the earth, when there is nobody left to buy their cargoes of goods, their stocks of gold and silver, jewels and pearls, linen and purple and silks and scarlet, all the sandalwood every piece in ivory or fine wood. B, very valuable wood, vogue, precious stone. In bronze or iron or marble, the cinnamon and spices, the myrrh and ointment and incense, wine, oil, flour and corn, their stocks of cattle, sheep, horses and chariots, their slaves, their human cargo. All the fruits you had set your hearts on have failed you. Now, a lot of you people are going to say, this is America, this is America. I'm going to say this to you. It's Rome, but it's actually America too. Understand that. Because America is the, remember, she has daughters, right? And one of those daughters is America, Babylon. You get what I'm saying? So all of her biggest dollars, her biggest cents come from America. All of the biggest idolatry, all the most of the music business, the sports business, everything where money is concerned deals with America. You understand what I'm saying? But the head of America is Rome. Trump said some stupid stuff the other day to not the other day, but no, last year, to the Pope, and he got corrected and he had to hold his mouth. So Trump is under power or under rulership of Rome still. You know what I'm saying? All of these countries are under the power of Rome. All of them represent Rome. You get what I'm saying? Rome has power over all of them. So when they see Rome be destroyed, as well as Rome's biggest, dirtiest daughter, right? They're gonna be basically filthing themselves. All of these other nations that or should I say these other daughters are gonna be filthing themselves because they don't know what to do. They don't have a mommy anymore. They don't have Big Mama anymore. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So okay. So verse 14. All the fruits you had set your hearts on have failed you, gone forever, never to return in your life, or magnificence and ease. The traders who had made a fortune out of her will be standing at a safe distance from fear of her agony, mourning and weeping. They will be saying, mourn, mourn, for the great city, for all the linen and purple and scarlet that you wore, for all your finery of gold and jewels and pearls. Your riches are destroyed within a single hour. All the captains and seafaring men see. It says, everyone who steers, everyone sailing to a place who sails the sea. Sailors and all those who make a living from the sea will be keeping a safe distance, watching the smoke as she burns and crying out, has there ever been a city as great as this? They will throw dust on their heads and say with tears and groans, mourn, mourn, for this great city whose lavish living has made a fortune for every owner of a sea-going ship, ruined within a single hour. So, for the people who are always fighting that, yo, it's Rome, and the people who are always fighting that, yo, it's America, it's the both of them. Rome is the head. America is the best, basically the best daughter of Rome. She represents her mother. You get what I'm saying? The daughters. Remember? Don't you forget, you forgot the daughters? But the biggest daughter, right? She's the one who goes out. Just like how YAHAWAH, you have to understand it's all representation. Just like how the Most High God sits on his throne and he sends out his hierarchy, right? To do his work with his power. It's the same thing with Rome. She sits on her ass, right? Which is the Vatican City, right? Rome, right? And she sends out her harlot daughters, right? To do her work and make the whole world and all kings do her fornication. But it's not even all kings neither, because not everyone is mixed up in the fornication of the Roman Empire. And the Bible even states that also. This is the reason why she will be destroyed by Nero. You get me? When he is reborn. But as we read before in chapter 16, right? So all right, back to, so this is chapter 18 verse 20. Now heaven celebrate her downfall, and all you saints, apostles, and prophets. God Yahawah has given judgment for you against her. Then a powerful angel picked up a boulder like a great milestone, or Salakia, a great millstone, and as he hurled it into the sea, he said, that is how the great city of Babylon is going to be hurled down, never to be seen again. D. I continued in the description of 18:1-3 is completed here. Babylon is to be destroyed for its idolatry. 18:1-3, 17:4, and for persecuting the Christians, basically the saints, the chosen ones, the Hebrew Israelites, right? Never again in Babylon will be heard the song of harpists and minstrels and music of flute and trumpet. Never again will craftsmen of every skill be found, or the sound of the mill be heard. Never again will shine the light of the lamp. Never again will be heard the voices of bridegroom and bride. Your traders were the princes of the earth. All the nations were under your spell. In her you will find the blood of prophets and saints, and all the blood that was ever shed on earth. You realize what it just said? In her you will find all the blood that was shed on the earth. That's why I'm saying to you people who are fighting, oh, it's Rome, oh, it's America. It's the both of them. Because America is a representation of her mother. You understand what I'm saying? The great harlot. You know what I'm saying? Which is Rome. Rome is in control of all her harlot daughters. She runs them. She rules them. And everything that they make and everything that they do is by, or basically, what's the word for it? Basically, let me just say it like this. Everything that the whole world does is under Rome's basically say so. If Rome don't like it, those basically you're gonna see those countries in war. If you realize, so-called white people, Caucasians, go to war with mostly Arab people and black people. Why? Because we are the nations that are not a part of them. We were never a part of Rome. So they are trying to basically conform us to their traditions and ways and their idolatries. You get what I'm saying? Even though other heathen nations actually have their own idolatries. Because if you read the book of Bible, it will tell you that Yahawah basically sent them to worship their own gods. You understand what I'm saying? So you'll realize that Rome is trying to conform the whole world. That's where one world order comes in. You get what I'm saying? They're trying to conform the whole world to be like what basically their greatest daughter is, which is America. You understand? Spiritual Babylon and Egypt. It's the both of them. America represents Egypt. Rome is Babylon. America is under the power or under the rulership of Babylon. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So you need to understand this. So America is Egypt and Rome is Babylon. So spiritual Babylon and Egypt, they're not separated. They're still one entity. This is what we need to stop. This is what we need to understand. And this is why we need to come together and instead of going against each other. Because we'll realize that we are both right. Like, we're both right. It's Rome and it's America. Like, the both of you are right. We just need to come together and put that information together. You understand what I'm saying? The Most High gave me the spirit to be. I watched a Sakari video, and him and this other guy was debating, and the guy was saying it's Rome, and Sakari was saying it's America, and both of them are right. The both of yous are right. You're both right. It's just the fighting. Like, we need to stop. Like, even me, I get understanding from whoop-ass, and I realize that, and I don't like it. I don't like whoop-ass. I do not like my ass being whooped. You get what I'm saying? But I realize I get a lot of understanding from whoop-ass, and I get a lot of understanding from from just sitting back. You get what I'm saying? And just leaving y'all to do all the to do all the fighting and stuff. And I'll just go study what y'all are saying and put it in one concept. We don't, not one person has the gift. There's a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? Even the remnant is still a lot of people. You know, it's a little, but it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? We need to put our gifts together and do this thing properly. But not to digress. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 19, and the context is songs of victory in heaven. Verse 1. After this, I seemed to hear the great sound of a huge crowd in heaven, singing, halalwayah, halalwayah, victory and glory and power to our Elohim. He judges fairly, he punishes justly, and he has condemned the famous prostitute who corrupted the earth with her fornication. He has avenged his servant that she killed. They sang again, halalwayah, the smoke of her will go up forever and ever. Then the 24 elders and the 4 animals prostrated themselves and worshipped Yahawah seated there on his throne. And they cried, Amen, halalwayah. Then a voice came from the throne. It said, Praise our Elohim, you servants of his, and all who great or small revere him. And I seemed to hear the voices of a huge crowd, like the sound of the ocean or the great roar of thunder, answering, halalwayah. The reign of yahawashi, our Elohim Almighty, has begun. Let us be glad and joyful and give praise to Yahawah, because this is the time for the marriage of the Lamb. A. The wedding of the Lamb symbolizes the beginning of the heavenly kingdom described in 21 verse 9. See Hosea 1 and 2 and Ephesians chapter 5 verse 22 to 23. His bride is ready and she has been able to dress herself in dazzling white linen. B. Symbol of victorious purity, a gift from Yahawah. Because her linen is made of the good deeds of the saints. The angel said, Write this, happy are those who are invited to the wedding feast of the Lamb. And he added, All the things you have written are true messages from Yahawah. Then I knelt at his feet to worship him, but he said to me, Don't do that. I am a servant just like you and all your brothers who are witnesses to Yahawashi, so-called Jesus, is Slakia, Yahawashi. It is Yahawah that you must worship. So we're witnesses to Yahawashi and we must worship the Father Yahawah. It is Yahawah you must worship. The witness Yahawashi gave is the same as the spirit of prophecy. C. The witness of Yahawashi is the word of Yahawah, to which Yahawashi testifies and which is implanted in every Hebrew Israelite and which inspires the prophets. It says Christians, but Hebrew Israelites. All right. Context change. The destruction of the pagan nations. The first battle of the end. D. After the fall of Babylon, foretold in 14 and 8 and described in 16 and 19 to 20, Yahawashi comes from heaven at the beginning of the great day of Yahawah, on which all evil will be destroyed, as had been proclaimed in 14 to 20 and 17, 12 to 14. Verse 11. And I saw heaven open and a white horse. E. The color symbolizes victory. A white horse. All right. Appear. I saw a white horse appear. Its rider was called Faithful and True. He is a judge with integrity, a warrior for justice. His eyes were flames of fire, and his head was crowned with many coronets. F. Because he is King of Kings. The name written on him was known only to himself. His cloak was soaked in blood. G. Alluding, symbol of mortal reign, he deals his enemies. He is known by the name, the word of YAHAWAH. H. The rider comes from heaven. Yahweh's word destroying the firstborn of Egypt. Behind him, dressed in linen of dazzling white, rode an armies of heaven. I. The angels. Matthew 26 and 53, or preferably following 14 and 15 and 17 and 14, the white robe martyrs. On white horses. From his mouth came a sharp sword. J. A sharp blade issues out of his mouth, symbol of destroying word. You understand? So it's not no literal blades coming out of his mouth, people. He's talking about the power. When he gives a command, people are just going to be destroyed. You understand what I'm saying? When he says kill, the angels are just going to start killing. Yeah, no joke. To strike the pagans, see? To strike the pagans with. He is the one who will rule them with an iron scepter and tread out the wine of the Almighty Yahweh's fierce anger. K. The winepress is a common image in prophetic literature for Yahweh's destruction of his people's enemies on the great day of his revenge. Genesis 49 verse 9 to 12, Jeremiah chapter 25 verse 30, Isaiah 63 verse 1 to 6, Joel chapter 4 verse 13, on the wine of anger 14 and 8, and Isaiah 51 and verse 17, on his cloak and on his thigh. L. Possibly meaning on his sword. It has also been suggested that we should read on his standard, since the similarity of the two words in Hebrew could be responsible for the present reading. There was a name written, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he shouted aloud to all the birds that were flying high overhead in the sky, come here, gather together at the great feast that Yahweh is giving. There will be the flesh of kings for you, and the flesh of great generals and heroes, the flesh of horses and their riders, and of all kinds of men, citizens and slaves, small and great. Then I saw the beast with all the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to fight the rider and his army. But the beast was taken prisoner together with the false prophet who had worked miracles on the beast's behalf, and by them he had deceived all who had been branded with the mark of the beast and worshipped his statue. M. This long parenthesis echoes the events described in chapter 13. These two were thrown alive into the fiery lake of burning sulfur. All the rest were killed by the sword of the rider, which came out of his mouth, and all the birds were gorged with their flesh. This is Revelation chapter 20 verse 1, and the context is the reign of 1,000 years. Then I saw an angel come down from heaven with the key of the abyss in his hand and an enormous chain. He overpowered the dragon, that primeval serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and chained him up for 1,000 years. He threw him into the abyss and shut the entrance and sealed it over him, to make sure he would not deceive the nations again until the 1,000 years had passed. At the end of that time, he must be released, but only for a short while. Then I saw some thrones, and I saw those who are given the power to be judges take their seats on them. I saw the souls of all who had been beheaded for having witnessed for yahawashi and for having preached Yahweh's word. I saw thrones, they sat on them, judgment was given to them, and I saw the souls of those beheaded for the witnesses of Yahawashi and the word of Yahweh. This verse, scarcely intelligible as it stands, must have begun. I saw the souls, and must have been completed word of Yahweh. They came to life and reigned. The remainder, and I saw thrones on which all those took their seats who would not worship the beast and his image or be sealed on their foreheads or their hands must have belonged to text. See introduction, and should be read between verses 11 and 12, Matthew 19 and 28, and 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 2 and verse 2 to 3. And those who refuse, back to verse 4, and those who refuse to worship the beast or his statue and would not have the brand mark on their forehead or hands, they came to life and reigned with Yahawashi for 1,000 years. B. One interpretation makes this resurrection of the martyrs, Isaiah 26 and 19, Ezekiel 37, symbolizes the recovery of the church after the Roman persecution. The reign of 1,000 years is then the period of the kingdom of Yahawashi on earth from the end of the persecution. The fall of Rome to the last judgment in 20 and 11, according to Augustine, the others who followed him. The reign of 1,000 years is to be reckoned from Yahawashi Christ's resurrection, and the first resurrection is baptism. Romans chapter 6 verse 1 to 10, John chapter 5 verse 25 to 28. A literal interpretation of this verse was widespread in the early church after the first resurrection of the martyrs of Yahawashi was to return to reign on the earth with his faithful for 1,000 years. This literal millenarianism was censored. So they hid it basically from us. All right. For this is the first resurrection. The rest of the dead did not come to life until the 1,000 years were over. Happy and blessed are those who share in the first resurrection. The second death cannot affect them. See. All right. The first death is on earth. The second death is failure to win eternal life. But they will be priests of Yahweh and of Christ, Yahawashi, and reign with him for 1,000 years. D. The messianic rule of the Hebrew Israelites, Christians, on earth is foretold in chapter 5 verse 9 to 10, and under the symbol of the New Jerusalem in chapter 21 verse 9 to 22 and chapter 22 verse 6 to 15. This second passage has been inserted so that it follows the mention of the last judgment, chapter 20 verse 13 to 15. The context changes before verse 7, the second battle of the end. When the 1,000 years are over, Satan will be released from his prison and will come out to deceive all the nations in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog. E. And it says, Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39, C notes mention Gog, king of Magog. Here, the two names symbolize all the pagan nation leagues against the church at the end of time. This is the eschatological combat of text, and it corresponds to war of text described in 19 and 11. And mobilize them for war. His armies will be as many as the sand of the sea. They will come swarming over the entire country. F. Palestine, and besieged the camp of the saints, which is the city of Yahweh's loves. G. Jerusalem, symbol of the church. Luke chapter 21 verse 24. But fire will come down on them from heaven and consume them. Then the devil who misled them will be thrown into the lake of fire and sulfur, where the beast and false prophet are, and their torture will not stop day or night forever and ever. Context change. The punishment of the pagans. Verse 11. Then I saw a great white throne, and one who was sitting on it. In his presence earth and sky vanished, leaving no trace. H. At this point, parts of 4 should be inserted. See note to verse 4. I saw the dead, and both great and small, standing in front of his throne, while the book of life was opened, and other books opened, which were the record of what they had done in their lives, by which the dead were judged. J. Salak. The last judgment, death itself will lose its power. The sea gave up all the dead who were in it. Death and Hades were emptied of the dead that were in them, and everyone was judged according to the way in which he had lived. Then death and Hades were thrown into the burning lake. J. The last judgment, death itself, yeah. This burning lake is the second death, and anybody whose name could not be found written in the book of life was thrown into the burning lake. All praises, glory, and honor to the Most High YAHAWAH, power of Yasharahla. Salutations unto my big brother yahawashi, and unto the holy angels in heaven and on earth. Hopefully, the elect got something out of this lesson. Hopefully the Most High was with us today. Hopefully the Spirit was dwelling with us while we was doing this lesson, so we could all get understanding. Because I don't just be going out, but I got the Spirit and I know everything I'm talking about. No, I sit down and I try to gather information, and I try to see what my brothers are talking about, and see where which party is right and where which party is wrong, and what we need to stop fighting about. So hopefully you got an understanding from Revelation chapter 16 to chapter 20, and hopefully you watch the next video. Like, share, and subscribe. All praises unto the Most High YAHAWAH, power of Yasharahla, halalwayah. All praises. Selah.